Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Busola Idowu, and a lot of times there's this narration on the social media platform that what is the church doing? What is the church doing? The church is not doing anything, the church is just collecting its members' money. But this is a different narrative, yes. So I'll be showing you what the church did, and it's a great one. It's like providing a summit for medium for business owners basically. So enjoy. This is for business owners. Have knowledge, enjoy.
From Dr. Shegun Dada. Mind you, I told you he has been the former immediate past chairman of NASI in Ogun State. That's the organization that is an umbrella body for small and medium scale enterprises, and he has done his part. So, we would like to start from you, sir. What's your thoughts when we talk about running a small business? Thank you very much. We have just 5 minutes for the first session.
Okay, thank you very much, Dayo. Thanks for the honor of inviting me. I never say no to forums like this as a Christian and also as an elder in Christendom. Yeah, like Kyle said, I'm a man of many parts. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also an administrator. I've started many businesses in the past. I'm an importer. I represent 2 major American brands in Nigeria. So please listen very well as the Bible says something. It said, it's better to be in the house of mourning than that of rejoicing. How many of us are aware of that? In Ecclesiastes, you wonder why the Bible said that. Sincerely speaking, if you want to hear the best, something that will strengthen you, listen to those that have failed. I have failed severally and I've succeeded severally. Now, when I was coming in, the young lady that interviewed me asked a question. He said, why the businesses fail? And I answered, I'm going to start this by what I discussed with her outside. I said, that why is also the answer. Why, in this case, why did you start your business? If you understand the reason for starting your business, the tendency is that your business will not fail. And why do I say this? Many of us go into businesses just to survive. A lot. In Nigeria, the data is that 4 out of every 5 businesses started in Nigeria will die within the first 5 years. 4 out of 5. That's 80% of businesses will die within the first 5 years of coming into existence. So the question now is, what are those issues? Why would a business fail within the first 5 years? I was going to talk about regulatory issues because I'm also, like I said, I'm an administrator. I'm also the business enabling environment advisor for the German Agency for International Development. So we study the environment a lot. One of the questions, the first thing that when you ask a business, why did you fail? The first reason they will always give you is that there was no capital. But we found out that that is not usually the case. Because there's capital. Right here, amongst all of us seated here, I can tell you that if you want to raise 1 billion naira, just all of us seated here, from our lazy funds, we'll raise it. Am I lying? There are some of us that have money in some accounts that we don't use. Even if it is 20,000, 50,000, 100,000, some of us have millions that we just need there. That is capital for another business. But the truth is, before you can give a business that money, you will want to understand the purpose for that business. And the purpose is where we always miss it. When we talk about corporate governance in business, when people come out and ask us, do we have corporate governance instituted in our businesses? The most likely answer is no. Some of us don't even know the meaning of, some business owners I'm talking about, do not even know the meaning of corporate governance. So corporate governance, in the real sense, is not the way government look out for you to collect money from you. It is a way for you to have a solid foundation in your businesses. That solid foundation will ensure that within that first 5 years, your business will not fail. That is the truth. Your business will have access to that capital that most of us will always say is a problem with our business. Corporate governance is the first solution or is the first part to business survival. So let me just end it there. Thank you very much.
Reasons why business fail, like you said, or the challenges most of us have as businesses, is we talk about access to funds and then access to market. How do you get your products out there? And you know, Mr. Tunji Beson, you are here. A lot of us have so much products. What's your take on getting your product to your end users? Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. So when we talk about getting your product to market, most often than not, what literally comes to the mind of a lot of people is marketing. But I think that before marketing, interestingly, myself and Paul, we were at an event yesterday and we're also speaking, and there was something we said. There's something called product market fit. And I made an example. There are certain things that sells in Lagos that no matter how much marketing you do for it, you will never sell in Abeokuta. So e.g., no matter how, and we tried it in Ogun State. We brought the buses to Ogun State. We kept ACs in them. We kept Wi-Fi in them. Did it work? So no matter how much we tried to market that product, the environment in itself cannot accept and absorb that product. So the very first thing any business person should think of before you even market the product is, do I have consumers of my product where I am? Whether you are selling as a retailer, wholesaler, or a manufacturer, there has to be a tested market for it, which means whatever I'm bringing to the market, there has to be people that will buy off it. Marketing in itself is persuading people to buy from you, not buy your product. Which means that there are multiple products and it is accepted, and you are trying to persuade and convince them to buy from you and not the other person. That's marketing in itself. So I think that the very first thing a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners need to do is to first of all satisfy themselves that there's a market for them. They are consumers of the product. So if I want to, if I want to start transportation business in Abeokuta, by default, we know what works. If it is not Okada or taxi, nothing else works. Because Abeokuta people are so used to the fact that they want to step out of their house, wave down their hand, and the taxi stops right in front of them. I hope you know that in Abeokuta, if the taxi stops far away from you, you will not go there and meet the person. So no matter how much you come with innovation, that is already in the consciousness of the people. And that's the first thing you need to do. Once you're able to access that, create a product that fits the market, then we can now start talking about putting your product in the face of people for more acceptance and persuasion to buy from you. And the only way you can create that level of persuasion is if you are giving them something that no other person is giving them, which is what we call unique selling point. Which is, if I put my car, my taxi on the road, why should they take from me and not the regular Micra on the road? So I can say, for example, if you enter my taxi, right, you will not have issues with change. I can look for a very good way to tell you that if you take my taxi or if you put our taxi on the road, you can even pay in advance. Or I have POS. So for people that don't carry card, I have POS. Once you get to your bus stop, just tap the POS and you go. Innovation is first of all a function of market acceptability. If the market is not accepting what you've created, there's no innovation that can come and there's no way you can market it. I'll try and look for more relatable examples in Abeokuta. So if you check Abeokuta, for example, we are having so many supermarkets come up in Abeokuta within the last 3-4 years. So we started with, the biggest at that point used to be Shalom. After Shalom, we had Just Right, and then we had some other ones coming up. But you know, I literally about 2 weeks ago, I was in one program and I was talking to people and I said, why do you buy from all of these places? If you notice the model of a Just Right, for example, they made the first mistake at their very first one, which was parking space. If you check every other building that they have ample parking space. And that just makes selling point to people. The consciousness that you can drive into our malls, buy, and you are not worried about parking on the road or having parking issues. But first of all, they have to determine that people want what we sell. Abeokuta was already growing out of the entire Kuto market because people are getting more sophisticated. People don't just want to go to a Kuto market and everybody is sweating. Post-COVID, it changed the mindset of a lot of people. So for every product you want to create, for every product you want to retail, for every product you want to wholesale, you first of all must determine that there are buyers in your vicinity. Then when you have the buyers, you can then go ahead to now start creating what we call unique selling point, and then the visual aid to keep your product in the mind of people. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Very closely, when we talk about marketing, I know ICT has played a major role in business, in improving assets and all of that. You see a lot of people nowadays saying, I don't even need a space, I'm just there, you don't need their shop. What's your view, and how do you encourage our MSMEs to utilize the social media space? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that. Apologies, taking your evening. So that question is quite interesting because literally at this time, the world is now a global space, in one universal space, and for me, one of the most important things about what social media or digital tools or digital transformation allows for a business is market access, right? Global market access. And also it reduces barrier to entry and barrier to scale. One of the issues we still have, especially in Nigeria, is the level of digital literacy of business owners and the ability to adopt digital tools to enhance your business. And so, for example, recently I was with Dr. Dada, and we're having a conversation, and the conversation was that the state government was thinking of how to optimize and help people to adopt digital tools and digital technology. The way to scale a business or grow a business is not just I go online or I sign up with a social media account. There is a whole lot of things that happen in the background before that needs to happen. And Tuji mentioned something like that earlier. There needs to be an understanding of the market that is being served. The social media is an enabler. Digital tools are an enabler for scale. Without the proper retrospect of the background work, then getting on social media will be futility, right? And if you get there, you will see that there are some people that get online and you will see that they have millions of followers or their businesses have thousands of followers and they are able to optimize it, right? And some people have millions of followers but they don't sell. And some people have just a few hundred followers but they sell. So the goal is not just getting on social media, it is understanding what your product is, who your market is, what exactly do they need, and how best do I distribute that product to them. I know that probably a lot of people might have heard that, oh, get online, but I used to tell people that getting online is not your main solution, it is defining the distribution strategy for your product. And what do I mean by that? Basically, where are my customers and how do my customers reach my product? How do I deliver that product to them? That roadmap to getting your product from where it is into the hands of your customers is what is important. So if social media is that platform, then so be it. And if your own channel is one-to-one, physical, if it needs to go back into offices, then that is what it is, right? But we need to first establish that. And then when we do get online, one of the key things that is also important is to identify who your customers are in terms of a user persona, right? So user persona is basically saying that finding the framework of who your customers are, a demography, psychography, like what is their name, typical name, what is their typical behavior, where are they located, what do they do, what is their interest, and all of that. Identifying all of those things allow you to create strategies that are suited to attract them, right? Because online, there are people who don't need your product. There are people who will never pay for your product. So you need to be able to, target rightly so that you can attract the right people that would benefit from your product.
Wow, let's appreciate him. That's an amazing.
For this honor, I say it is an honor because it's a very, very rare privilege to sit among these eminent people that know. And I'm already having some loose pimples, all over my body when I hear the content of the knowledge that is coming out of those who have spoken before me. All right. Going to your question, I will want to start like this. Accountant or accounting, before I talk about, because bookkeeping is a subset of accounting. So an accountant is like to a business like doctor to human beings. So no organization can function very well without keeping records. And when I say record, I mean financial records. And I also want to say this, that one of the critical success factors of any business is bookkeeping. Because when books are not kept, maybe I should start by just defining what bookkeeping is. Is the process of recording and maintaining record of a business financial transaction in a systematic and what is the word I'm looking for now? In a systematic manner, so to say. So when you don't keep record, how do you track your performance? How do you take informed decision? We say one thing in accounting, we say going concern. The business is supposed to continue into the foreseeable future. But periodically, we should take a pause and check the performance of our business. And how do we do that if we don't keep record? And that is why you see that we say we have our financial statement maybe at interval periodically to determine whether we have made profit or loss. And then also, if we are in a business where we have a multi-product business, we want to also ascertain the performance of all these products, whether we are going to still continue with them or we want to delete them. We want to look at their performance, their contribution even to our profit overall. Because if we don't have that record, we will not even know whether one business is making a loss, but one product is making a loss, but the profit being made by other products is the one that is probably covering that one that is making a loss. So bookkeeping is very, very, very essential. And like you said, when regulatory authority comes, in fact, that is the problem that we have. Many of them don't have record. And that is why many a time when we want to assess them to tax, we do what we call BOJ, best of judgment. So that when we slam you, you come back and say, I've not made it. Then come and tell us why you've not made it. Keep us record. And you also know one thing, the law also prescribes, in fact, compels every business to keep records. And there are penalties for non-compliance. So for any business, to make for you to report any success in business, that record keeping is mandatory. Unfortunately, most of our business people in the MSME are not educated, are not literate, but we can engage the services of those that know to assist us. And one very book that is very, very crucial, regardless of the organization, even church, is cash book. You must keep the record of how you receive cash and how you spend cash. In fact, without that, you won't even know if, because many times, some of these bankers, they come up with some hidden charges. It is when you conduct via reconciliation that you discover them. And those little things are the things that will erode your business profits. So, I mean, in a nutshell, bookkeeping cannot be overemphasized. It's a simple not in business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate it. In simple terms, I'm doing small business. What are the key records that you think I should keep as a small business? Minimum, I'm not an accountant, I just want to, what are those records? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it still depends on the type and nature of business we are talking about. So what are you selling? Are you selling your service or are you selling goods? So that will determine the type of book you are going to keep. But what is peculiar to any type of business is cash book. Is very, very key. Very, very important. Cash book is very, very important. The way we look at business, especially structured one, is that whenever you are doing any business, there must be documentary evidence of the transaction, whether you've been given the invoice or receipt or what have you. And that is what we call source document in accounting. So that is where you start your recording from. When you make payments, or maybe you receive money, you issue receipts. When you sell, you issue invoice. And like that. So first thing that you do, like I said, is that cash book. How you pay and how you receive cash. Then again, there's some business that don't run on credit. So if you don't run on credit, you might not need to keep the record of your debtors. So then, do you also take credit? Maybe you take loan or you buy on credit. So it depends on the nature of business before you can. But like I said, that cash book is peculiar to any business. That is very important. So now it does depend. So if you are selling, of course you are going to keep your sales book. If you are buying, you keep your purchases book. And if what you do is like item, then inventory comes in. So inventory, what else again? Like I think that's all. You have debtors, you keep record of those who are bought for you on credit. If you are buying on credit, you keep record of your creditors. And you keep record of your inventories, your sales and purchases. Those are the basic record that you keep for a small business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate it.